Okay, this video is for grade 7. It's from number 34 in your multiple choice review package from Math Help Services for your exam coming up next week. So we did go over these questions on Friday in class when you have to square root something and then square it. I think all of you are going to be fine for this, but I just want to reiterate it that if you square root a number, which this is what this check mark thing is square root. Okay, if you're square rooting something, that is the opposite of squaring it. So what I mean by that is that we have things that are opposite operations. So the opposite of adding is subtracting. You know this. The opposite of multiplying is dividing. So if you had something multiplied and you wanted to get rid of it, you would divide it. But then if you multiplied it again, it would go back to the same number. Okay? So the opposite of an exponent is a root. So what I'm saying here is that, like, I'll take another number that we can use as an example because 91 does not have a clear square root. So when you look at this, it's a little bit like it might freak you out to think about a root that you can put into 91 because you know that square root of 81 would give you 9. Square root of 100 would give you 10. So it should be somewhere in the middle there, and you don't want to get a decimal number. So really, if you had one that was like square root of 49, this would equal 7. But then if you take your answer and square it, 7 squared, which is 7 times 7, that would bring you back to 49. Okay, so these are opposite operations. They go back and forth between the same numbers. So in this case, when you have a bracket around it, like if it said square root of 49, which is 7, and then squared, like it's telling you to square root the number and then square it, which is what we did up here. We square rooted it, and then we squared it. It went back to 49. So square root of 49 squared goes back to 49. So what we were talking about on Friday is that it doesn't matter what this number is in here, okay? This one is something that you wouldn't be able to figure out easily what the square root is. It doesn't matter that you can't calculate it. And in this case, you don't have to show any work for these questions. Whatever the number is that's in there, if you square root it and then square it, because those are opposite operations, it just comes back to that number. So your answer is 91. So it's D.